Illuvium, you can see exactly where it's at. You can beta test it. Like, this is one of the best AAA games that's positioned well for this incoming run. And the token has been savaged by two things.
All right, back here, episode 48 of the GameFi Rundown. Jimbo, we have here as always. We may or may not have another guest jump in while we're doing this episode, but I'm going to just wait to see if that happens before we give any sort of introduction. Because if he doesn't come in this time, he might come in another time. Jimbo, how you doing?
What's up with my mustache? Do you see this? Why is it doing that? I'm like lopsided, bro. Everybody,
I'm always,
don't look at me, guys.
I'm always lopsided. So we got a little bit of Illuvium talk to go through, and then we're gonna get into some of these some actual crypto stuff. So to start off, the Airdrop Season 2, this just got announced in the Discord. This I didn't even see this coming, to be honest with you. Maybe I missed something, but this kind of just came out of the blue for me. I was thinking we had just this one season that went until open beta where we were just getting airdrops for playtime, getting airdrops for catching these alluvial lines and hollows and dark hollows, but that all ends in literally what, on June 30th. So by the time this video comes out, I
Yep.
think that's already tomorrow or the day after. And then things all change. So if you've been waiting, if you've been like me, I was basically farming for my drone equipment. I was building up some master shards, and I was like, I'm gonna wait until I get into mid-July and then just start, hunting all these alluvials. But you don't want to wait anymore. You want to hunt what you need to hunt and make sure you have those complete lines before it's what, 0 UTC June 30th. And then everything changes. So I don't think we know too much about this preseason 2, other than it's going to be based off of missions and tasks. Before I throw it over to you, Jimbo, one more thing is that there was a 30,000 ILV allocated for this testnet airdrop. 20,000 of it is what's about to finish, right now in a couple days. And then the airdrop points get reset completely. And then from, what's that going to be, July 1st until we don't really have an end date. It'll be close to open beta.
I think Karen said that, or I heard this. I'm not sure if it's straight up true, but it was like around a week before the initial release. So what was it, July 25th or 28th? The release.
Hold on. 25th is the release. Yeah, you're right. I heard that too. They're not going to have the testnet go literally until the 25th and then just switch right over. So there's going to be probably a week in between. So that might be July 18th. So we might only have, what's that going to be, 2.5 weeks for this season 2 of the airdrops. So if you can grind for 2.5 weeks and do these missions and tasks, I'm guessing they're the same missions and tasks that pop up on the top left of your screen, or maybe they're not. I don't know. But yeah, maybe you could get another little chunk of ILV. But what do you think about these changes? They're completely different from this season 1 to season 2, how you get your airdrop points.
Yeah. I think because a lot of the people complaining about how the airdrop in the first season worked, I think that's why this happened. I don't think this was planned. I think, you said like, I didn't even know this. I don't think this was planned. I think this was a reaction to how the community perceived the first part of this airdrop, which, I mean, hey, it's a good thing. And they can just be like, this was planned the whole time. And, everybody will think that. So I think we're going to see a lot of tightening up and fixing the issues that they had with the last airdrop. I think more than welcome it. You know what I mean? This is gonna, if it makes people happy, that's all I care about, I guess. I really could care less about the airdrop, to be completely honest. I'm not going to be grinding for it at all. Maybe I'll grind a little bit for this next one because there's going to be more value in it, I think. But overall, I just want to play the game, dude. I don't care.
Yeah, same with me. Like the airdrop points and whatever I get, like I don't expect to get a lot at all. I'm not counting on that. But the more I'm playing, the more I'm realizing, okay, this is a sticky game. I am having fun and enjoying it. I'm learning the maps. I'm learning and getting better at moving around and knowing where to go, where to go to look for certain things that I'm going to be able to just hit the ground running when we get to July 25th. So
Exactly.
so right now I'm having fun with it, and I'm learning the game so I can make videos and teach all of you on July 25th.
Yeah, I think that's the main pull for me for the preseason too is I want to get used to the way the game is currently being played. Of course, there's going to be updates, probably even a big update when the main game comes out compared to what this preseason 2 is going to look like. But I just, you just want to get familiar with the game before it comes out so you have as much advantage as possible. And I suggest you listening to do that as well.
Yeah, definitely. Even just like I have an Xbox controller that I play with. I streamed a little bit when the testnet first came out, and I was trying to shoot these alluvials, and they were just running into their wakes because I couldn't even shoot them enough. Like
That's pathetic. I'll be real. That's so bad.
I know, but like I don't have that issue anymore. But I'm just saying, like, it doesn't even take long. I'm probably 55 hours of playing right now.
Okay.
But even in that time, well, probably by the time I hit like 20 hours of playing, like I get so much better. The muscle memory came back. I have so many buttons on my controller. I even have those like 4 back buttons because I get that elite controller, and they're all mapped to
Nice.
something different. So it took a little while to like know what I needed to click for every little thing. But now I'm zooming around the map. I don't know if there's any new special Jimbo jumps or anything like that I'm missing out on, but I'm getting around a lot quicker. I can farm a run pretty quick. But if it wasn't for this testnet and me just practicing basically for fun, then I wouldn't be able to do that. So I wouldn't just wait for the open beta if you're out there, just one of those people that's like, oh, I want to be on chain. Like, get into this game and play a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So let's move on to this next one here. So I know last episode we touched a little bit on this new Gauntlet mode. Kieran he made a post yesterday that they were internally not beta tested, but internally having like a play test for Gauntlet. As most of you might know, like I am part-time with Illuvium now. So I didn't go in, I wasn't watching it. But I saw there was about 30 people internally early this morning for me, just all in there. A bunch of them were streaming and playing. So it's to the point where it's playable. I'm sure there's tweaks that need to be made, balancing, maybe there's some bugs. I don't know about all that, but they're playing it already. And that was something that, and we only started hearing about Gauntlet mode, maybe a month ago? But my question to you is that it seems like Gauntlet mode is getting a ton of attention right now. If Gauntlet mode becomes like the competitive game for Illuvium, and it kind of like takes that shine away from the arena, is that like a net positive or negative for Illuvium?
It depends on how expensive decks are. If we're trying to make like decks more expensive and Alluvio is more expensive, then this is 100% a net positive. And I think it's a net positive regardless, because I think this game mode is going to be the game mode that makes people say, hey, crypto games are not a scam. I don't have to spend $500 to play this game. It's completely free. Why would you even complain about that? You know what I mean? It's a completely free game. You don't have to pay anything for, and you get everything you need. Now, here's the thing. Will alluvials have value? Maybe not as much as they would if you had to actually own it. But the thing about the alluvials in the Gauntlet is if you own the alluvial, you actually get a skin to go with it if you're playing it and using it in the Gauntlet. And I think that's going to be huge. And I think there's a reality where Gauntlet actually makes alluvial prices higher than they could have been because of that ease of access into the game where you probably won't even have to own a crypto wallet to get in there. I mean, I guess with IMX Passport, it doesn't make it that hard to begin with, but you could play Gauntlet without knowing anything about crypto. You can play it without even realizing there's crypto in Illuvium. You don't even have to touch it unless you want those skins. And the skins, like say it's a tier 0, these things are pretty much worthless. You're saying I can get a skin for 10 cents. I don't have to spend $500 on a League of Legends skin. I don't have to spend $20 on a CSGO skin or even $1 million on a CSGO skin. I mean, it's going to be absolutely incredible to get in here and buy these skins up, and it's going to be such a good it's going to be such a good thing for crypto gaming, having a 20-cent 10-cent skin in Gauntlet. I really think this is one of the best ideas Illuvium has ever come up with. I cannot wait to play this game mode. I honestly think it's going to be so much fun. I'm more excited for Gauntlet than anything. It's going to be such a good time. I'm so pumped.
Yeah, everyone I talk to about it is super excited, but like I've mentioned this before. I've never played TFT, so I don't really know. But yeah, if it's an easier game to play basically, and it brings more people in, like if you get 5x the people playing Gauntlet that would have Arena, and say 50% of those people want some sort of skin, then yeah, I could see it raising or increasing the value of these alluvials. But
I
my
think
other
that's an
question about
understatement. I think the room for the player base for Gauntlet is the potential and ceiling is so high that we could see not just a 5x. I could see legitimately like a 20 or 30x in the player base. That's
Yeah.
why people are so pumped about it.
Yeah, because TFT is, I don't know how many players, but they've got a shit ton of
33
players.
million active monthly players.
Yeah, and if this is what it seems like, I don't necessarily want to call it a clone, but it seems like it's pretty much TFT with alluvials on the blockchain. So if TFT can be a hit, then why wouldn't this be a hit? You have some competitive like competition, a big prize pool that Kieran's always talking about. Bring
Mhm.
the people over from TFT to this game, and then it could be huge. But that is one more question I wanted to ask you about this: the competitive side, because in the arena you can easily have like a 1v1 in for esports, that's great, but then in this mode you're going to have basically 8 people all competing at once. How does that, I know TFT does pretty well for esports, but do you think that's I don't know, just give me your thoughts on that. Like when it comes to esports, is arena better than you think this gauntlet mode could be?
So Teamfight Tactics actually, for the size of game it doesn't really have a good esports scene, and the reason because like you were saying, like with Gauntlet and having 8 people instead of just a one-on-one, it is going to make it less esports friendly. I think, maybe there's something that they can pull out of their butts and come up with something to make it more interesting for the viewer. But I could definitely see it. Just as like a game that people actually want to play. I think that's the biggest thing, and then the esports for like maybe Leviathan or Ascendant, that can be what draws people in for esports. But who knows? I could be completely wrong.
I would actually like to see it better that way. Like treat Gauntlet mode as more of like that everyone can play mode. Everyone can jump in, have fun with it, still be competitive, but have more fun. And then when people really want to get serious into the competitive side of things, then they jump over to the Ascendant Arena and the Leviathan. And at this point, I don't think we know much of what the difference between Ascendant and Leviathan is going to be. Maybe it just becomes Gauntlet and Arena. Who knows at this point? But yeah, I'm definitely excited to see it, and I'm guessing we're gonna get a glimpse of this soon, because I don't know if this is 100%, but I think they're planning Gauntlet for open beta on July 25th, right?
Yeah,
Is that
that's
what
that's
yeah.
the goal.
Yeah, and like I said, they're already play testing it internally, so they have about a little under 1 month to get it ready for open beta, and hopefully we get it a little early. It'd be nice
Yeah,
even if we got like a week of play testing on, doesn't even have to be on the test net. Just let us play a little bit before it starts.
that'd be sick.
So we just had someone else jump in here. All right. So actually, thank you for
Right on
coming
time,
on.
really.
Huh?
I said right on time, really. I mean, we got the
Yeah.
good topics now.
Yeah, honestly, that was like kind of perfect timing. We just went through a couple of the segments talking about Illuvium, Airdrop, Gauntlet, Arena. We're about to move on to some gaming and AI coins and crypto. Rain, first of all, thank you for joining. I know you're big on gaming and AI. You might be new to some people in the audience here, so just introduce yourself.
Hey everyone, Crypto Rain. I've been in the crypto space since 2017. Before that, I did investing since, well, like early 2000, right? So I had about 18 years experience prior to finding crypto in 2017. Now, like many of you, like I grew up without a lot of money, and I thought, well, shoot, no money equals no options. And I thought, how is it that some people have a whole lot of money and other people don't? And so my mind went to work on that over years. Since I was a kid, I was asking that question, and I read a bunch of books, and I realized that people have a lot of money. They learn how to do this thing called investing, and they buy things when nobody recognizes their value, and then they sell it when everyone starts to recognize their value. So like most people, I got started in real estate, and real estate's really cool. Over like a 20 to 40 year period, you can make amazing money. And then in 2017, I was introduced to something that's like crack cocaine for investors, which is the crypto space.
Woo.
And it massively accelerates the cycle. If you think about it, like every investment has cycles where they have bull markets and bear markets. So real estate has bull markets and bear markets, but from top to top in real estate, it takes between 18 to 22 years per cycle. That's a long time. That's why it takes 40 years to really make millions, maybe tens of millions if you play it well over 40 years. But in crypto, you can go from not a lot of money to a lot of money much faster because the cycles last about 4 years. So though many of you might have come in like a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and it seems like for forever in the investment world, that's a very small cycle. As well as this other thing that's so powerful is the volatility. Like Illuvium's token was what was it at the top? Was it almost 3,000?
It was
Or
about
was it
1800,
2000,
1900.
1900.
almost 2,000, right? And so it's down and it's been under $100. So that is massive volatility. And some people see that as a bad thing. I see it as you can pick up ILV for $80. Like that's an amazing discount. And if it just goes back up to $2,000, which personally I will be very shocked and disappointed if it only goes to 2,000. I'm not telling you what to buy. I'm telling you that's what I'm buying. And I am playing this airdrop massively because, first of all, I love the game. I'm inner nerd totally. So I have probably clocked, I don't even know, hundreds of hours since beta launch of Illuvium. Like my eyes are bloodshot. My wife wonders why I play so damn much video games. It's like I am getting paid to play video games. Isn't that every kid's dream? Now, do I actually need the money? No. I was able to retire in 2021 because of crypto, but do I want more money? Yes. And do I think it's freaking amazing that I can play a fun video game and get paid for it? It's the best thing in the world. So if you're not playing the airdrop like crazy, like what are you doing? Why are you not? Like I'm in there and not just playing, like trying to be as effective as I can. So I watch Illuvium specific creators and I learn for what they're doing because many of them clocked a lot more hours than me in the early run up. So like I didn't know what I was doing with the battles and I would, lose, especially when I started going to stage 2 and stage 3 and I'd get my arse kicked and I'm like, crap, I need to figure out a better team so that I could win these encounters so I could capture those hollow now that they have hollows and dark hollows and when I run across something really good, like, so hopefully, probably preaching to the choir about the Illuvium beta testing right now, you're getting paid to play video games. Now, I recognize that blockchain gaming was really, really cool back in 2018 when people first started talking about it. And I was like, this concept is going to be one of the biggest things because blockchain brings so much to video games. It will massively improve video games because it brings this idea of ownership. And video games are crying, like investors or gamers need ownership so bad, even the ones that don't realize it. Because when you're buying all those Call of Duty skins and you think you own them, you don't own them. And those people find out sometimes when they get shut down for their terms of service and they no longer have access to those assets. So this idea of bringing blockchain so that you own the items is amazing. And it might fail. But if it doesn't, it's going to be amazing.
Oh, I've been telling a lot of people, trust me. Trust me.
I know, and you were an early Axie player too, so you get it.
Yeah,
and
not as early as you, but yeah, I got in pretty early. While they were still on Ethereum, I got into it. Let's put it that way.
So you got in nice and early, right? Which is actually the juicy point, because I bought a little too early. Why? Because everything I bought got savage for 18 months. For a while, it seemed like that project was dead and it wasn't going to survive. Why? Because we were in a bear market. I remember a point, and this is probably when you came in, they were paying they were like going on Discord channels and they were saying, if you'll play the game, we'll give you free Axies. So I got 2 free teams of Axies. Later, I was selling those for like $600 a piece, not really knowing what I was doing because I didn't play it enough to know which ones were good. So I was probably underpricing them because I didn't know which ones are good.
Yeah. There was a point that summer. There's a point that summer where the good ones were going for like $2-3 grand a piece. Like it got pretty wild. But my problem was I just held and did the scholarship things, and I didn't sell the top.
It's so hard to sell the top tokens because everyone around you says it's never going to stop going up, right? Mm-hmm. One of my little metrics that I use is when everyone is saying something, I get really scared. And at the time, Axie was going crazy. In fact, I was at the Bitcoin conference in June of 2021, and I met this guy, and he was a cool business guy, and he's like, "Oh, Rain, guess what?" I'm like, what? He's like, "Do you know what the best investment in the crypto space is?" What? And he's like, "Axie Infinity Land. Did you know you can buy Mystic plots for $50,000 to $80,000?" I was like, "Yeah, I know that you can buy them for that. Thinking, I already sold mine. I was selling them at $3,000 and $5,000 and stuff, right? And he's like, I just borrowed $2 million and I bought a bunch of those, and they're going to do phenomenal. And my mind is like, sell all the rest of the Axie Infinity stuff I have,
Yeah.
because you're hitting that point that people say it's not going to stop going up. Now there's this reverse point that's really juicy. When everyone says it's not going to stop going down, like the Illuvium token, the price is really, really cheap right now. And as an investor, I like to buy cheap. And then I hold till people say it's never going to stop going up. This game is freaking amazing. Like, is it perfect? No, but for like a first run, they're rolling out the beta, it's really, really good. And you actually get to keep these things. And the characters, they did a killer job on it. Like, I think Illuvium is one, like, there's some hype about Gunzilla's project, and I'm invested in that. There's some hype about other ones. Illuvium, you can see exactly where it's at. You can beta test it. Like, this is one of the best AAA games that's positioned well for this incoming run. And the token has been savaged by two things. Token investing, one. Number two, the bear market. The combination of those two things are amazing to me as an investor that likes to buy low. That's what I look for. I look for projects that have been out for anywhere from 2 to 4 years. They've been out a little bit longer than that, but they've actually been punished by the bear market tremendously and by token investing. So the tokens are really, really cheap. And so I'm a really big fan. I just picked up more land too. I own like 23 plots of land. I own the Illuvium token. I have some whales that they consult me on what I think is massively undervalued. I told them the ILV token, they're probably going to pick up like $800,000 worth of it. And I'm jealous that I don't have 800,000 liquid to pick up more Illuvium. So,
so I got a question for you here as we move on to this next topic. So obviously you're very bullish on ILV. A lot of people watching this channel are the same. I titled this here "Pick and Shovel." So, like IMX and Ronin, those are the coins for the chains that these games are on. What do you think is the better option right now? Do you go with IMX and RON, or do you go with like the ILV token and maybe the Pixel token, or the actual game's tokens, or the underlying chain that they're on? What do you think is the best option? Right now?
I do like Immutable X. I loved Immutable X at 42 cents. But unfortunately, like, the secret is out and it's up 6x from there already. And it's like, dang it. Go back to cheap. Now, I picked up some at like 42 cents. I was covering on my channel. It was like, anyone who's passing this up right now is crazy. And people are like, it's done nothing but go down. And it's like, it goes down until it goes up. And at some point, it's going to go up. And unfortunately, it has. So I'm price sensitive. So I don't know what the price is today, but recently it was like at 250, and I was like, 250. I'm like, Ronin, I haven't followed very much. I do like that Axie Infinity, gosh, with their marketplace fees and what they make just on things changing hands, they have plenty of cash, even with the decreased number of people playing it, so that maybe Ronin turns into something really, really big. But I like buying cheap, right? And one of the challenges I have with Immutable X is the market cap is higher. Now, do I think Immutable X is going to do well from here? Yes. But I also factor in like opportunity costs. So if I throw in a whole bunch of money in something and it does 20x, but I could have put it in options that had done 60x. Well, so I wasn't as effective during that run as I could have been. So I balance, what is the risk? Then what is the potential reward? So do I like Immutable X's? So what's the risk that Immutable X fails from now into the bull run? The risk is very, very small that they fail from now into the bull run. It could happen, like if the SEC massively went after and targeted them, but I see the SEC pulling back. Gary Gensler just took a huge amount of heat in an interview with a major TV network, blaming him if Joe Biden loses the election. So I think he's going to pull back from his anti-crypto stance. And so that's one of the big risks that every crypto project faces. Just some arbitrary rule was accidentally broken. The US SEC's enforcement arm just goes massively after that. And so that's a risk every project has. So I think they have low risk of failure from here. But what is their upside from these prices? What is the price right now? Because that's helpful to know.
Probably around
pull it up.
$2, I think. I actually
Mutable
bought a
is
little bit more.
155 right now, and Ron is 202.
I haven't followed. Okay, so Mutable X 155 is pretty good price. It's not as cheap as it was, but it's back under. So it went all the way to like 380 or something. It's like, what? So right now its market cap is 2.3 million. So it's got good potential upside from here. But what is the potential upside from here on a project that's at $2.3 billion market cap? I don't know, maybe 10x, maybe 20x, maybe 30x or 40x if it really goes crazy. Okay, so are there other things that also have low risk that have bigger upside? That's why I actually rolled my investment in Mutable X into other things. And so like Illuvium is one of the ones I rolled into. Illuvium's market cap, so their token is all the way down to $66, which is amazing. Their market cap is at 300 million, and we saw that Axie Infinity's market cap went to what? Was it about 15 billion in 2021?
I think it was 12. I think I remember it was around
12.
12 billion.
So where can Illuvium go? Probably to that, maybe more, and that's a 40x from here. If it goes more, then maybe it does 80x. So at these prices, I like Illuvium. There's some other projects I'm in that are riskier. We're talking about Immutable X, and we're also talking about Ronin. I don't know enough about Ronin and what their game plan is and who they're pulling. That's my alarm to join the show because I had the time wrong.
Okay.
But I don't know enough about Ronin to say, like, yes, like, obviously I've used them and they're cool and good and they were an early sidechain. I am massively invested to the tune of millions of dollars in a project called Devi that is also doing some stuff in the blockchain space that people are not aware of. So like Immutable X, they're a permissioned blockchain. They can do 8 million transactions per second. So if I didn't have that one play, would I be investing in these two? Absolutely. In fact,
Yeah.
I still own some Immutable X, but I did diversify out of it. And if it got cheap down to like 42 cents or under 50 cents again, I would massively, massively load the boats. It's not too far from that now, but it's just not as juicy as it was.
Yeah, and so you just mentioned like the risk reward there basically, and you're definitely further along in your crypto journey than me, and even I'm to the point where I'm looking at less risky options because I'm like at this point I'm happy with a 10, 15, 20x. I don't necessarily need to be looking for those 50x's anymore. So what motivates you to still be looking for those 50, 100x's rather than just it sounds like you're already into the millions. Why not just go with an easy, safe 10x?
Ambition. Is it ridiculous? Well, so I'm really good at two things, which is economics. My mind thinks economics and I can't shut it off. Secondly is like psychology of people behavior and then picking up the patterns between them. So that's what made me good at in consulting, what made me good in real estate and real estate investment. That doesn't mean I didn't make mistakes. I did. I made some savage mistakes. I made some mistakes in real estate investment that cost me hundreds of thousands of dollars. But I had that money to lose because investing was something I was passionate about and got some things right as well as some things wrong. And over time, I became better. Like in the crypto space, at first I thought all those things I'd learned didn't apply. They very much apply. So I share about like crypto and how I invest in crypto is much like an early stage business investor. They call them angel investors or venture capitalists think. Now in the traditional venture capitalist market, here's what they look at. They'll invest in 10 different projects knowing full well that 60% of those projects will completely fail in the next 10 years. 30% might struggle and do okay and make them some money. 10% will do amazingly well and give them 7x returns over a 10-year process on the whole of their investment. So they're like, if I can invest $1 million and turn it into $7 million 10 years from now, that's great. Well, crypto has accelerated that, but how many of these cycles do we get with the outsized gains? Not very many. So it's like I'm making as much hay as I can within this time frame. Now, when I was newer, I made more mistakes. I invested in things like meme coins. There's reasons I don't invest in meme coins anymore. I just think their predictability is too low for what is interesting to me. I look for things where I've learned how to predict better that for higher chance of success. So the sweet spot, in my opinion, is projects or games, because half of my investments are in the blockchain gaming space, is that have been out between 2 to 4 years. Hopefully their token has been out for that long. The team has a track record of working their arses off during that time, even while the token has been punished, and they haven't gone out of business. And they hopefully have some kind of runway that's long enough to get them into the next bull market. So Illuvium falls square in that category. You know, Immutable X falls squarely in that category too. But then I'm balancing risk versus reward, and because I know how possible 100x is and 200x is, what I've done is diversify across a ton of them, and I'm mostly looking for lower market cap projects that have 50 to 300x potential, because some of those will go 1000x and some might only end up going 20x, and a few of them will fail. 20x isn't bad, but to really get into outer space, some people think, oh, if you become a millionaire, you're set for life. Not anymore. If you're in a big city, you might pay $1 million for like not even a great home. Oh, then you have to pay capital gains taxes or your taxes on your gains. And then you buy a car and it's like, you can't even quit your day job. Okay, you don't have a mortgage payment, but now you have higher utility costs, higher insurance costs. To really break Earth's orbit, if you're in the US or Canada or parts of Europe, you need to be at $40 million or more. Because then you're like truly rich, right? Where you are completely free to make decisions as long as you're not stupid with your money. Now, when Jimbo asked me to join you guys and he said you were gone, I actually watch your videos, Najaf. I love your videos. I love the way your mind thinks. And so when I'm trying to catch up on Illuvium content, I watch yours and Scoriox's channel. Why? Because I love the way your mind thinks and breaks down. Like, we think similarly. We think about return on investment. Most YouTube creators don't think that way. And it's rare to find ones that do. And when I find them, I'm like, yes, they speak my language. Because that's what I want to know. I want to know, what is the risk, what's the reward, what's the potential here, what is the upside if it goes well, what's the risk that it might fail from here.
I lost my train of thought. There was
The
something I
Jake's
was gonna
soul
say there.
just died when you said 40 million.
Yeah, I was like, oh,
It seems so unreachable, but it isn't. Now, is it
Yeah.
from here to the next cycle? I don't know. It depends on how well you did the last one. Is
Yeah.
it reasonable somebody that's investing $10,000 to go to 40 million this cycle? No. You would have to absolutely hit the lottery. And even if you did, you wouldn't know what to do with it because you just totally got lucky. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't get that
Well,
lucky last
yeah,
cycle.
I mean, my journey is actually similar to what you were saying. I was just probably 3 to 4 years after you, or one cycle after you. But like, I made a bunch of mistakes, but I also made some really good plays that made up for all the mistakes I made. You know, I was buying the sand token. Like, that was the first one that I got into. And I wanted to buy some land for sand. I bought the sand token at 8 cents. It went up to $8. You know, when I got into Axie Infinity, I remember buying 100 AXS for like $3 or $4. My problem with that though is that I kept using it to breed Axies the whole time as the Axie prices were going up. So I used basically all of my AXS on breeding Axies, and then the Axie prices went down. So I kind of, that's how I didn't capitalize the most on that. But I've gone through that cycle. This is my second cycle, and I'm not going to make those mistakes again. I'm sticking with the projects I know, like Illuvium is a big one. IMX and Ron are two of my other big bags. I'm definitely not hitting 40 million this cycle, but if I play things right, I could definitely be over that 1, maybe even that 2. And then I just gotta recycle it for the next cycle and be where you are.
Exactly. You start taking profits when everyone says Illuvium is never going to go down from here. And the paradigms have changed and it's never going to stop going up. When you hear that, that's like, uh-oh, crap. I better start taking some profits out and start putting them on the sidelines. And when you're looking for that period you're looking for is like Illuvium is dead, blockchain gaming is dead, Bitcoin is dead, then that's music to your ears, because unfortunately, like 90% of people do poor in real estate investment, in crypto investment, everything, because they buy when everyone is buying, and that's sell time, and they sell when everyone is selling, and that's actually buy time. So the trick to making money in crypto is to buy low and sell high. But if that's the trick, then why do 90% of people do wrong? Because of emotions, because of fear of missing out, and then fear that it will go to zero. And so the truth is, there's so much money to be made here because so many people do it wrong. The time when they should be averaging out, they're buying more. They're mortgaging their home to buy even more. They're borrowing $2 million from investors to buy more Axie Infinity land at $80,000 per Mystic plot. Boy, I haven't talked to that guy. He might be in some hot water with his investors. Crap, like that was a bad time to be. I tried to give him some hints. He was not having it because he was so sure, because everyone he talked to said, yeah, man, oh my gosh, that's an amazing price. And I was like, I don't know. You know, look around and ask everyone if they're telling you it's an amazing price, you should be worried. He wasn't ready to listen to that. He had to touch the hot stove to find out for himself. Unfortunately, most people touch the hot stove for themselves and they just leave the crypto space. They don't accept that they could have done it better. They just say crypto's a scam, blah, blah, blah. Don't take any ownership for just being bad, because you're always bad when you're new. You're bad before you're good.
That's great. And I think I'm going to make this a perfect segue into this next one here. So you said when everybody wants to buy, that's the sell signal. Do you think there's a sell signal on the whole Dr. Disrespect situation? Like, is that what dead on arrival is what people are saying? Is that a sell signal to you, or if people are selling, is that a time to buy because of the whole situation? I don't want to get into too much of what happened, but he's out. He got basically, I guess, fired from his job there, or he was a co-founder. But what's your take on that situation? Like, would you be buying into this project now, or is now the time to sell out?
But here's the question. Will the project survive? Because it's a terrible time to buy if the project's going to die. Now, just because people say things are going to die, that doesn't mean they're going to die. When I was buying Cardano during the bear market, 90% of people were telling me I was stupid and Cardano was a dead coin and it was never going to survive. This is 2020. You know, Cardano bottomed out at 1.7 cents and everyone was dancing on my grave because I started dollar cost averaging in at 11 cents. And they're like, see how stupid you are, you're at 1.7 cents. And my answer was, I'm fucking buying more. Cool. They didn't get it, but there was tons of research as to why Cardano was actually healthy and was totally going to survive. Technically, what I am is what's called a fundamental investor, and I usually hold for longer periods. So I don't day trade. Most day traders I met in crypto say they've made money, but they don't tell you about the losses. They don't actually make very much money. Everyone I know that is absolutely rich from crypto plays it the same way. They do fundamental research, and they buy when everyone's jumping off the boat, but they have fundamental reasons why they think it's a good bet that it's going to survive. So I don't know and the underlying health of the company to know whether I would say it's buy time or I'd be scared from here.
Yeah, and
So
I'm
just
not
because
too...
everyone's jumping off the boat doesn't mean I jump off the boat. But sometimes I've jumped off the boat as I look and I'm like, yep, there's real strong concerns as to whether this will survive. So will shrapnel? I don't know.
Yeah, the situation with shrapnel, I think, is
Real
I think
quick,
the
it's not
fundamentals...
shrapnel, it's Deaddrop. Very similar
Oh,
game.
okay. Yeah, you're right. It's Deaddrop.
I'm saying
It's
it
not
completely wrong.
shrapnel.
Okay, Deaddrop. Sorry. Yeah, I think the fundamentals are good there. I think the issue is that Dr. Disrespect was the face of their franchise, and now that he's gone, do you stick with the fundamentals being good, or do you say, oh, the face of this project is gone, like now, you know, they have
Yeah,
no
he
shot?
was a massive strength to them, right? Because he's a massively famous gamer, and people will buy just based on his name. And now that he's gone, it's concerned. Deaddrop, I didn't like their funding method. I did not like the gala old school of like sell NFTs for really expensive that then allows you to like do stuff. I don't like that funding method at all. And so like I haven't participated. Like I didn't go buy one of their NFTs. Didn't even apply as a content creator to try to get one that way. And so I haven't played their game. I haven't followed it close enough. But what is actually investable? I don't think they even have a token. The only thing investable is their NFTs, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't like the
What-
model. It's not a scalable model. Like it worked for Axie Infinity that you have to buy 3 Axies in order to play, only because that idea was new. That is not a winning model for the long term. What Axie Infinity did strike gold with their whole idea of we're going to make money as people transact in our marketplace. That idea was one of the best, most innovative ideas in the last 20 years in video games. And that is a winning model that every game should try to copy, because let people come in, play your game for free, and just pay a percentage of this. Now, will Illuvium's model work? Because it's not that. I think it still will, but it's not as good as if, you know, they could. I guess with Illuvium you can play it for free. and they will get people. And they'll have to. We'll see what the gas cost ends up being and how that works. But the best model is free, but then you can create value and then let that value change hands between people, and the game maker makes a percentage of that as those things change hands. I think that's a model that'll be around for long term. And that the games that really do that model, that allow people to massively come in and play for free, but say they want to upgrade skins or want to get other things, then they just charge a percentage of that. And a really low percentage, like 4.25%, would be great. What is Call of Duty, or not Call of Duty? What is it?
CS:GO.
Counter-Strike Go, CS:GO, right? That they charge like between Steam and Counter-Strike Go's fees, you end up losing like 15% or something. Crazy high, and yet
And it's not an NFT. It's they can ban you at any time you do something wrong. Like it's nowhere near as much value as a blockchain.
it's kind of like partial ownership, and what they prove with that is this idea of ownership is amazing. And even if you're a big game and you give people partial ownership, that idea will go crazy. So they prove this model. But they're going to find out as the competition comes in that 15% isn't going to cut it for the future. They are getting away with it now because they were one of the first to go with this idea of ownership, even if it's just partial. You don't really own the stuff, but we'll let you capture some of the upside of it. This idea of true ownership or partial ownership can work as long as they're not really like crazy with the shut your account down hammer. So like they prove that model is going to work, but that 15% it's too much, right? And the money will gravitate towards other projects that have a lower fee that also get some good traction, that have a game people want to play.
And so Jimbo, I know me and you we were chatting a little bit about this Dr. Disrespect situation. But what's your take on all this? If you're, I mean, I don't know if you're invested at all in it, but like, would you look more towards it, or are you going to shy away now after this situation?
Here's the thing. I feel really bad for saying like this is dead on arrival or don't invest in this because of the situation, because just specifically because of how this situation is. But I mean, at the end of the day, like Crypto Rain was saying, I mean, he was the face. He had all of the connection with his streamer buddies that were playing the game. I mean, and not to mention, there's not even a token. You have to actually invest in the NFTs themselves if you're going to make a ton of money, which, I mean, there's pros and cons to that, but I think it's too risky of a play at this point. I think there's potential for them to prove themselves, but like right now, the risk to reward ratio is just like, it's way too risky. But I think there's a point where if the game proves itself, and it's a super fun game, so this is definitely possible, but if the game proves itself to be that game that gamers actually enjoy playing, I would wait until that point, until there's like a light at the end of the tunnel, but that light might never come. The tunnel might collapse on it.
Yeah, that riskiness is concerning.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, find that risk reward. I mean, that's what I'm doing with my whole portfolio. You gotta find that balance. There's some tokens you want to be more risky on, some tokens you want to be less risky on. But yeah, I mean, we're already hitting that hour marker of this show, so I think we're gonna close this out. But Crypto Rain, thank you so much for your insight. You've given us a lot of great information. Jimbo, thanks for making that connection and getting Crypto Rain on this show.
Of course.
But I'll leave links to your Twitter, your YouTube, whatever you want down below, so anyone watching can go follow you. But yeah, I mean, any final words here?
Yeah, overall, like people who are here right now, you're really smart. The world hasn't woken up to blockchain gaming yet, and you're going to find out how amazing your timing is, whether or not you fully realize it. I'm going to give you financial advice as to what to buy. Like this is what on my channel, I talk about what I'm buying and what I like, and more importantly, why I like them, because I'm just sharing my thoughts with you. But at the end of the day, you get to make your own decisions. You get to press whatever buttons, sell or buy, or maybe you're just here for gaming and not even crypto investing. I'm here for crypto investing because I see this period of time as like what I've waited for my whole life. And I already know that you can make millions and millions from this by doing it right. There is the process of learning to do it right, and that's kind of what I created my channel for. Unfortunately, you'll never get a very big channel by talking about projects that are massively undervalued, because people don't come in until the project is massively overvalued. Then your channel will blow up, but it's now a bad time to buy. That is if you're still covering it. It's a bad time to buy and it's a good time to sell. So unfortunately, that doesn't lead to a really big YouTube audience, but it does lead to a really wealthy YouTube audience as they learn these principles and how to think for themselves on investing. And as you become really good with these skills, there is nothing greater than becoming good at investing and having something like crypto that has such huge volatility so that you can then buy lows and then sell highs. But you do
Yeah,
have to become good at this, and there is a learning curve, as Najaf
yeah.
found out, as I found out, even with 18 years experience. I was like kicking myself in, like June of 2019, being like, or 2018, I'm like, crap, I should have seen this cycle thing coming. I should have listened. Everyone's saying it's never going to stop going up. Like, I know better. Crap.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
I like what you were saying though. Like I don't have the biggest audience right now, but I like to think that I have very like the quality is very high on the people that watch this content.
Like,
And
I
I
watch your content and I love it.
yeah,
And there isn't a
awesome.
ton of people that think like you do. But when I find content creators who think like you do, I'm like, this is freaking golden. And I hope your audience realizes how special the way you think is. And you share, like, you talk about the economic side of it.
Mhm.
That's critical to making smart investments, the risk versus reward, and learning how to think and analyze that. You're one of the few
I appreciate that.
creators that talk about that. And
Yeah.
specific to blockchain gaming, I think the highest potential ROI across the crypto space is blockchain gaming. So this is the
Mhm.
place to be.
It is awesome. Yeah, I appreciate it. Again, thanks for coming on. Um,
Mhm.
Jimbo, thank you
Yeah,
for coming on.
I got two things I really want to. It's cool having Crypto Rain. I've been watching him
Yeah.
on off and on for a couple years now, and that's just really cool. And also, if you guys want to hang out with us, I'm not sure if you're gonna be there this Saturday, but on Saturdays, the Phantom Guild hosts a bounty hunt in the official Illuvium Discord, and that's at 12 p.m. EST, I think. But I'm co-hosting that with Paz, so if you guys
Okay.
want to come hang out, you as well, Najib, uh,
Yeah, yeah,
come hang out with us and have some fun. Win some ILV.
yeah,
I've been there
yeah.
the last two
Awesome.
times, and 2 times ago I won two of the prizes. Like, sweet, ILV, this is
Did
great.
you?
I'm getting,
Yeah.
I know.
got some
Any
good
extra
catches during the
ILV
show.
I can get, I'm going for it.
I know, right?
Yeah.
And all this stuff counts towards your thing, so why not make it have a fun
Exactly.
time? Jimbo, you've done a
Thank you.
fantastic job. That
Thank you,
stream
sir.
was a ton of fun. I had a ton of fun, and everyone there was so cool.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll definitely try to jump in there. But yeah, everyone, thanks for watching. This has been a great episode. Longer one, which is cool. But that's it. We'll be back in 2 weeks for episode 49. So thanks for watching. Catch you later.